Welcome to She Sells Radio. Hey, if you are watching the video today, I'm not on video. So just wanted to acknowledge that right off the bat. It is, as I record this, it is 6 a.m. I am about to go work out right after this. And I needed to get a podcast recorded. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to get it done. I always prefer to do these on video when I can, especially for my YouTube audience. And today was just a day where it was like, we're going to make an exception and get things done. And the message that I have for you, though, is extremely powerful. So I want you to listen in. And this is also, by the way, the first time I've spoken out loud today. The whole house is still asleep. So morning voice, maybe, I don't know, maybe it sounds normal, but roll with me here. I promise the message is going to be worth it. So today is all about getting your house in order. And there's a literal interpretation of that and a non-literal interpretation of that as well. Today is day 36 of the Finish Strong Challenge. You are coming into the home stretch. If you've been doing this along with me all along the way, I am so proud of you. And if you are also just joining in and you're like, what's the Finish Strong Challenge? I don't know. This is completely free. You can still get registered at elisearcher.com/challenge. And it's all about helping you close out and complete 2022 really, really strong. But whenever you're listening to this, I want you to listen in because there is an element of creating and manifesting your goals that requires both big picture thinking, stepping away from the rational, the logical, the linear into the unlimited. And then also there's a counterbalance in that of having order and structure to help support you in creating what it is that you want. And so this is what we're really going to focus on today. You know, sometimes on the show or with my clients, we talk about kind of those balance and energies with what we're creating, masculine and feminine energy, the nonlinear and the linear, right? And when we learn to really integrate and balance these two, we can, what's the word that show? We can catapult our results really. And so today, what I want you to think about is whatever your primary goal is right now that you're working on, are you a match for that? Are you being a match for that in all ways? There's a quote, and I don't know who originated this, but the quote says, "Order is heaven's first law." Order is heaven's first law. I think it may have been Thomas Troward, perhaps. Could have been someone else. I don't know. But when you think about that, the more that we can leverage new sciences like biomimicry, it's not really a new science, but it's a newer one, and look at how do things operate in the natural world, it will give us clues as to how we can create what we want in our lives. And the natural world, although there are times of chaos, there are times that feel like things falling apart. Oftentimes that's a reorganization. It's like something needed to shift or change, or something major needed to happen in the consciousness of a population, or in just to shift the direction and the trajectory of the world. So there are those elements, but on a general rule, there's tremendous amounts of order in how the natural world works. There's seasons, there's rhythms to everything. There's night and day, there's light and dark, and there's this great deal of order. If you look at how the cells in your body work, when everything is functioning harmoniously, everything is in order. There's an order to all of it. And so whatever result it is that you're looking to create with your goal, there's going to need to be a next level of order in that area of your life in order for more of that to come in. So for example, let's say that your goal is a financial goal. Well, money and greater amounts of money come when there is a safe place for it to land. And what I mean by that is if you desire more money, but your emotions are a wreck around money, or you're feeling chaotic, or you're feeling unworthy, or you have habits of financial avoidance, insert whatever dysfunctional relationship you may have with money. And again, no judgment if you do. That was my relationship with money for so many years, and I've done a lot of healing work there. But money, greater amounts come when you have shown that you can maximize and be responsible with what you already have. Now, by be responsible, I don't mean I don't, because so many of the clients I work with have a lot of like, what do I want to say, trigger around the word responsible, where it's like, you should do this and do that. There's a lot of shoulds with money. There's a lot of shaming with money. I don't mean that at all. But I mean, are you up leveling your financial acumen? Do you have accounts set up for the things that matter most to you? Are you in relationship with your money, right? I used to have so many habits of financial avoidance because I didn't feel worthy of money. I didn't know how to use it. I wanted it, but I didn't really know how it worked. I would just blow through it on things that didn't really matter to me. So of course more couldn't come in. And of course I was stagnant in where I was because I wasn't showing up as someone who had the level of consciousness that can handle a greater deal of money. So the law of use, we talked about this, oh gosh, almost 2 months ago on the podcast, right? It says that you have to show that you can maximize what you already have before more will be given. And so this is the way that it works in the natural world. And when we can look at in our lives, and again, I'm using money as an example today, because I know a lot of members of our community have bigger financial goals they want to hit, but whatever your goal is, you have to show that you can maximize and be a good steward. Again, not in a judgmental way, not in a restrictive way. I'm all about, like, you're not going to get abundance out of lack or scarcity or restriction. So that's not what I'm talking about here. But having things in order in that area of your life is going to be critical for more to come in. And so what I want you to look at and examine today for the challenge is, in what ways do you need to get your house in order? And this is also, if you're listening to this in real time, we've got, I don't know how many days left in the year, 11, 12, depending on when this airs. This is a great time of year to be doing that too. Just closing out, completion, cleaning up things that need to be cleaned up. I have all of these like physical files in my house of things that are 10, 15 years old that I've kind of just been dragging from like move to move and place to place. And I haven't finished it, but a couple of days ago, I started the process of just going through those old files and looking at like, what do I really need? I had literally like paint chips stored in my home decorating file from a house we owned years ago. I don't need that. Right? Anything that you're dragging around with you that's taking up physical space or mental space, because things that take up physical space that don't add to your joy, that aren't in alignment with where you're going, it does clutter you mentally, it clutters you energetically, and it's literally an energy leak and a kind of like a sieve where just things slip through the cracks, and you becoming a match for what you desire and for what you want means that there aren't as many energy leaks, right? Like you're getting those patched up. There are systems in order in your life in order to help you feel supported and have that structure that's needed to basically catch and sustain the next level of money, wealth, opportunities, love, joy, etc., that you want to call in. So when I say your house, it can be your mental house that needs to get in order. It can be your financial house. It can be your business house. It could be your physical home, right? It can be any number of those. But the questions I want you to journal on today in your workbook, and you get a workbook with this challenge for free. So again, elisearcher.com/challenge if you want to get the workbook, are number one, what systems in your life constantly seem to be broken down? So for example, I didn't learn how to treat my personal life like a business for years. And when I say that, that can sound really not sexy. I get it. But here's the thing. The least sexy thing in your personal life is when you're constantly distracted, missing things, behind on things, getting late fees, not like things being last minute. And so when I realized, oh my God, like you just need to treat it kind of like a business and look at what systems need to be built in. I looked at what systems needed to be built in my personal life so that things didn't seem reactive, so that things weren't breaking down. And so we literally have spreadsheets and project management for like how our household runs, and of course for our finances. And I have time allocated every week to plan out on the personal front. Okay, what am I doing with Jason next week? What am I doing with Jack next week? We have team that helps with it. So really looking like that was just one example of in my life, a place where systems were broken down. And it's always a work in progress too. I want to just say that because as you change and evolve, your needs are going to change and evolve. So I'm constantly looking at, what new system needs to be created or what used to work that no longer works. So it is a work in progress. But looking at what seems constantly to just be broken down, reactive, behind. And that's really the first question, which is very similar to the second, which is where are you finding yourself consistently being reactive? Is it there are fires popping up in your business or in your career on a regular basis? There are fires popping up with team. Maybe financially, you feel like you're getting late fees or you're getting past due notices. And it's just like, where are those places where you're always like, oh gosh, this is frustrating, right? Something comes up at the last minute and then it takes up your time. That's an example of an area where there's very much a need to get your house in order. And then I would also look at the third question here. What feels heavy or frustrating every time you go to do it? So what feels heavy or frustrating every time you go to do it? Is there a certain element of your life where it's like, oh, this just feels like an uphill battle every single time? Because usually that's an invitation and an opportunity that there's some part of you that gets to up level in that particular area. Is it with your finances, right? Like every time you go to sit down, it feels frustrating. Well, maybe it feels frustrating because you don't have all of your accounts in order. Or is it your sales process, right? It feels heavy. It feels, it doesn't feel good. Well, what systems and order need to be put in place there? Maybe you don't feel clear on who your ideal client is. Maybe you don't feel clear on what your process is. So you avoid it. And then it feels frustrating because you're not making the money you want. Again, just really looking at and journaling on these three questions. And you don't have to go fix them all today, but I would invite you to pick one. Pick one area that you're going to up level and create some order in. And sometimes it starts with just clearing out the old. In fact, it almost always starts with just clearing out the old. So are there old systems that no longer work that you need to get rid of? Do you need to physically go clean out your closet or your home to make space? Like really up leveling your consciousness, and you'll find that there may have been a level of disorder that you were available for at an earlier stage in your life, but you're just not for where you're going now. Because I think that happens. It's definitely happened in my life where like I used to be okay with being reactive. I used to be okay with being behind on things. I used to be okay with things just feeling like nagging in certain areas of my life over and over again. But it was because my consciousness couldn't conceive of a different way of living. And I certainly still have plenty to learn and plenty to go, and that's revealed on a regular basis. But it's transformed so dramatically in my life over the past few years. And I'm just not available for the crap I used to put up with and the chaos and the reactivity and the fires I used to create for myself. That kept me in kind of that fight or flight mode, not able to really call in the next level of what I wanted. So this is your opportunity. And this, honestly, when I started really focusing on this, because go through just like you, right? We all have kind of seasons of what we're focusing on right now. And my life is very much like a get your house in order type of season in a lot of different areas. And it feels really good. I warned Jason the other day. I was like, just so you know, this is the vibe right now. And I'm sorry if you don't have any clothes left by the end of it. Like I'm literally going through and clearing out everything that like doesn't give joy, doesn't align with where we're going, doesn't, doesn't just creates that feeling of like, oh, like old, or it doesn't light me up, or it's just not in alignment with the next level version of our lives that we're calling in. So have some fun with this. And this is your challenge for today if you want to be entered in for the prize drawing. So you're going to journal on these questions. And then once it's complete, share on social that you completed today's challenge. So you can go to, again, elisearcher.com/challenge. You'll get your weekly workbook and you'll get a graphic to share on social. Tag me at Elise Archer. Use the hashtag #SheSellsChallenge to be entered to win the prize drawing. And final reminder / opportunity for you, if you really want some support in calling in next level goals for your 2023, get yourself registered for our Sedona retreat, elisearcher.com/Sedona. It's going to be transformational. It's all about helping you step into much bigger thinking about what's possible for you next year, but then also building out that supportive plan in order for you to create it. And so if the content of this show resonates with you, you're going to love it. And it's going to be something you will be so grateful that you took the time to do for yourself, and a beautiful gift you gave yourself. So again, elisearcher.com/Sedona to grab your seat and get registered. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you tomorrow for our next day.